Madam Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. I cannot see her, but I understand she's here. Stewards of businesses, organizations, and even of government, Integrity Initiative champions, friends, ladies, and gentlemen. Today, we are officially launching the Judicial Reform Initiative, or JRI, by presenting a statement of appeal for judicial reforms. This Judicial Reform Initiative, or JRI, was founded sometime last October 2011, and the objective is to seek sweeping and genuine reforms in the judicial and prosecutorial arms of the government to, of course, restore credibility in the halls of justice. This is consistent, of course, with the reform as already articulated by the President and by the Chief Justice herself. But we have to cite that while the World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Report has placed the country some 10 notches above its prior rating, the Philippines still ranks one of the lowest in Southeast Asia in terms of judicial independence and judicial effectiveness. So this is just a summary of what the Judicial Reform Initiative is all about. It is multi-sectoral. We continue to invite more organizations to join us. The objective is to collaborate, underline collaborate, with the Supreme Court and the Department of Justice in order to assist in promoting and expediting reforms. Of course, we shall remain an independent body. At the same time, the members of this movement commit themselves to highly ethical standards in dealing with the legal and court system. We are not going to name all of these organizations, but they consist of well-established citizens and business organizations, including the foreign chambers. And we even have the Philippine Association of Law Schools. We have law deans with us, and the objective is to emphasize very strongly ethics as a course in the law curriculum. We also have the Movement for the Restoration of Peace and Order, which is Tessie Angsi's, the crime fighter movement, and she's actually here with us also. So we are actually a very diverse group, and we seek to work with the Department of Justice for the prosecutorial arm, and of course, with the Supreme Court. We now want to summarize the principles behind this statement of appeal for judicial reforms. We have, of course, to cite the wide perception as well as our own experiences that there exists corruption, incompetence, and delays in the delivery of justice. And this is something that we really hope to address through accountability measures. May we announce the arrival of the Honorable Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. To continue, the last 3 bullet points are actually accountability measures. Of course, we seek to hold accountable not only the members of the judiciary, but the members of the Philippine Bar who engage in corruption and unethical practices. We seek an independent process, an independent special body to resolve corruption cases involving the judiciary. And of course, we also are appealing to make public the performance of all judges in order to see their performance relative to their ability to dispose of or resolve their cases within the regulatory time period. That would also include such information as regards the number of TROs issued, as we know that we do not want TROs to be an instrument, sometimes by losing bidders or those who seek to prevent or delay the implementation of contracts. But it is also not lost on us that this early, the Honorable Chief Justice has also has already introduced a few reforms. Among them is the use of the judicial affidavit and also expediting the processes involved in the small claims court. The next chart, actually, these are the last 2 points or the principles behind the statement of appeal for judicial reforms. And the first is to seek independent technical opinions on matters which are highly technical and which need a thorough technical understanding. This would include such very complex issues as financial derivatives, RORBs, even international practices. And this, of course, strengthens the independence of the judiciary. In the next point, we talk about looking after not only the social and political rights of people, but also their economic rights. The Constitution has a provision that it is the duty of the courts to promote a just social order that ensures prosperity and freedom from poverty. This was actually interpreted by the former Chief Justice Art Panganiban when he promoted the no interference rule, or the principle of the differential interpretation of economic policies and economic programs, meaning the courts have to defer to the executive and legislative branches when it comes to economic reforms. So, but even as we have to cite this, as there is actually a World Bank study way back in 2011 that says it takes an average of 37 procedures, about 2.5 years, almost 2.5 years, and 26% of the cost of the claims to enforce a commercial contract in the Philippines. Lastly, Madam Chief Justice, this is not going to be a one-way appeal. The movement of the Judicial Reform Initiative commits to incorporate the highest standards of professionalism and integrity in our own dealings with the court system. So what are the next steps? This is just my last chart. We just hope to divide these actual organizations into different task forces to actualize the programs. We want to get the Integrity Initiative champions that you can call the Secretariat in order to have more organization and really put all of these programs into action. We remain very positive and very confident that under a true partnership between the private sector and the court system, we will continue to have, or we will now have, a judicial system that is grounded not on use or abuse of privilege, but on the sanctity of the rule of law and moral order. At this point in our country's history, it is no longer a choice, it is our moral duty. At this point, we will now have a ceremonial turnover of the statement, the principles of which you just saw, to the Honorable Chief Justice. So to lead the turnover, may we now call the chairman or presidents of the 4 organizations that are driving the Judicial Reform Initiative, together, of course, with all the other organizations. And may I now call on stage the chairman of the Makati Business Club and the Integrity Initiative, Mr. Ramon del Rosario. Of course, we start with the Honorable Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. May we also call on stage Mr. Ed Francisco, President of the Makati of the Management Association of the Philippines, Dr. Jess Jesus Estanislao, Chairman of the Institute of Corporate Directors, and the President of the Financial Executive Institute of the Philippines, Mr. Ramon Apulencia, to formally turn over the statement of appeal to the Honorable Chief Justice. So please kindly turn over the statement, Mr. De Rosario. Thank you very much, and may we request the Honorable Chief Justice to remain on stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a warm round of applause to the Honorable Maria Lourdes Sereno, Chief Justice, Supreme Court.